Hey, this is Danko Jones, and you are watching Loud TV. I don't know. I think now over time we have the ability to look back on the discography because this is the 12th album. So now we can look back and say, yeah, there's an identity there, or there is a sound. But as we were doing it, as we were making album to album, single to single, we were just trying to write cool songs, and we didn't know that we were carving out a sound. The thing is, I've been consistently the only singer singing all the songs, so it's gonna have my voice on it, which kind of stamps every song and makes it part of our sound. But beyond the voice, the style and the character and the type of songs we play, we've never really veered off too far from where we started. We started off as a garage punk band because when we started in the mid to late 90s, that was a huge scene everywhere. We were part of that. We got caught up in that. And then as we kind of got rejected from that whole scene in a way, we also started to not be into it as much, and we veered more to a hard rock sound. So, which is only a couple of degrees away from garage punk or garage rock. So we've maintained a sound. It's not as if we're now an electronic band and we have a DJ, or it's not as if we're a metal band now, or we've never really veered off from rock. So that's what's maintained the consistency.
If I say that you are, quite the AC/DC rock AC/DC,
right?
Is it a compliment for you?
Yeah, I mean, AC/DC are a band that we've, in terms of their style of music, they've maintained a consistent trademark sound. Like it's AC/DC when you hear a few chords. So that is, and same with Motorhead and Slayer and the Ramones. So those are the four bands that we've kind of wanted to have a consistent sound. We use them just as inspiration to not, for lack of a better term, experiment. You don't need to if you're confident with your sound. And AC/DC definitely have just maintained the same sound. There's an art form to that. Within the boundaries that you've created, can you make it fresh over and over again? There is an art to that. I think the idea that is rampant in music and in art, period, in all kinds of fine arts, is the need to constantly push envelopes and expand your sound. And if you don't, you're somewhat not as genuine or authentic as artists or bands or musicians or singers or painters or sculptors who aren't pushing boundaries, because that's the essence of art. I really don't subscribe to that. I find the beauty in how AC/DC or Motorhead were able to kind of stay within the confines and yet keep it fresh. We were working with Eric Ratz ever since Fire Music, which came out I think in 2016. Then we did another album with him, Wildcat, and then the album after that was A Rock Supreme, and that was with Garth Richardson, and who's done Biffy Clyro and Rage Against the Machine. But then we went back to Eric which we had a great time with Garth, and we're incredible. He is out on the west coast of Canada, so he's far from us. And during the pandemic, we went back to Eric and we put out Power Trio. Then we did Electric Sounds with Eric, and this new one, Leo Rising, is also with Eric. So if you take the last 6 albums we've done, we've only done 1 with Garth and 5 with Eric. So we've got a pretty good thing going with Eric. We kind of know the other, it's a comfortable, familiar working relationship that yields pretty good albums. So we're very happy with Eric too. Working with Garth was an experience that we really hold valuable. He's an incredible producer, and he has a name for a reason. So it was great to work with Garth, and we'd love to work with Garth again. But he's out on the West Coast, so it's quite hard. It's difficult for us, especially the way our lives have gone in the last 5 years, individually, the three of us. So. No, I know there's bands who have these like pat answers about how the new album is different and you got to listen to it, but it's just 11 more songs that we wrote, 11 more rock songs. Yeah, like I don't see why anyone should screw with something that's working.
Yeah.
We're not selling 1 million copies of our albums, so maybe it's not working as well as other people would say it could, but the records are really, I'm really happy with the output and the results of it, so I don't see how it would change drastically if we made a different, whatever. Kind of know, well, here's the thing, is I've always said this, when we make records, as far as I know, in terms of my guitar, I've always wanted my guitar on records to sound like the same sound I made when I was 11 years old and I was listening to like Motley Crue and Def Leppard. That sound that I made when I was 11 is the same sound that I'm trying to find when we make every album we make, and that's it. Like, however you get there. As long as it sounds like then we're good. Oh, I don't really like it. It's not scary to me because we've never really been a band that subsisted on like our albums as much as their calling cards. We tour and we use the albums to tour. So we need to make good ones. If a computer can make as good or a better record that sounds exactly like us, they still can't tour it. And so, didn't Ronnie James Dio do that, and Tupac did that with their holograms first? I honestly think that I'm sure it'll happen, and I'm sure there'll be a Kiss tour with holograms, and I'm sure people will buy tickets for it. But at the end of the day, it won't come close to like Kiss in '76. So. I mean, sure. I know that I'm going to get asked that a lot for this upcoming album because of that. But it's also harkens back to our first album, which is Born a Lion. So Born a Lion, Leo. Leo Rising is kind of like that. Where like a Leo, there's like a sun sign, your moon sign, and a rising sign. So this kind of makes a reference to that if you want to get astrological. But I'm not a Leo rising myself. So it's just, it could be seen as astrological, or it also could just be seen as a cool title. And it also could be seen as a reference to our first album, which is Born a Lion. And since it's our 12th album, 12 is like a baker's dozen. There was 12 dudes at the Last Supper. There was 12 this, 12's that. There's a lot of significance with the album 12. And so I guess in our situation, it would be a reference to our first album. So it's kind of like bookending our discography. Not to say it's our last album, because, as a rock and roll band, you got to at least get to album 13 to be a legit force, you know. So we're not done by any stretch. It's fun to flirt in that world of angel numbers and numerology, but I don't let it guide my life, and I don't let it determine my actions like I know some people do. So it's just a fun flirtation, as is astrology. I mean, you take all these things with a grain of salt. I'm not closed to it, and I don't go, oh, that's just, well. I have an open mind to it. I realize I'm a speck of dust in this universe. I know nothing. We all don't know nothing, so there's just no way I can dismiss it. So, you know, I'm open to numerology as much as I'm open to astrology, but you know, I'm not gonna go left if it tells me to go left when I should go right, you know. So hindsight's 20/20 is a saying, like when you know hindsight. So hindsight is like when you know the outcome now. So you have hindsight, and so that's your hindsight's 20/20. It's a saying.
Okay.
So the line, if hindsight's 20/20, I'm going blind. So that means. Even though I know the outcome now, I still don't understand what the fuck happened. So that's why, with that song, I'm Going Blind, it basically is about a situation where, and I'm speaking from real life, something happened to me and I still don't understand. I know everything. I know the beginning and the middle and the ending of what happened, but I still don't understand why it happened, how it happened. So I know the story. I have all the information, but I'm still kind of confused. So that's what that means. Yep. The song Hot Fox is about somebody. I'm Going Blind is about something I went through. I Love It Louder is about something I went through. There's other songs that are just more playful, like the last song on the album. It doesn't really mean. It's not really focusing on a certain person. It's more of a theme. So it volleys back and forth, but on every album there's definitely songs about certain people. When you're on tour, and this is where this title comes from, when you're on tour, you kind of, I mean, depending on how long the tour is, you kind of lose track of the days. Every day is the same. And every day you play in front of a bunch of people who are, I mean, if it's a good tour and you're doing well, everyone is there to see you, everybody's excited. So it feels like a Friday, it feels like a Saturday, and I've said this in describing what I do to people or friends or family at home or whatever. I just go, well, every one of, what have I said to actual people is like, your Monday is like my Friday. I've said that to people over the years, like your Tuesday night is my Saturday night. So I just took that kind of way I talk and put it into the song. So that's a good example of like that song isn't about somebody, but it comes from real life. It comes from me talking to whatever, somebody who, you know, usually somebody who's a lay person who doesn't know music or doesn't go to shows, or you're trying to describe what you do, because I find a lot of people don't really understand. Like you do, like you're in this world, but like out there, we live in this bubble. Like I live in this bubble. Sometimes I think mistakenly, oh, everybody knows that we tour but nobody understands what exactly it takes or what exactly this is. So that's sometimes what I've said to describe what we do. Every day for us is Saturday night. So when I'm off tour, when I'm off the road, I don't usually go out. I enjoy the silence, the quiet, and the peace and the tranquility, the serenity. So I get enough of it every night of my life when I'm on tour. True. A lot of the people I've met in metal bands are actually just listen to hard rock. They don't even listen to other metal bands. And I kind of, you know, I'm kind of the, I was for a long time the yin yang of that, where where I played in a rock band and I wanted to always be around metal, and because I've been a metal head since I was like 14 or 11, you know, so when we started touring and we started playing with all these bands, you know, I would meet some of these bands that I've been listening to my whole life, and that kind of got me more into the music than if I had stayed home. But these days, I don't really listen to too much metal. But it doesn't mean that I don't like it, or you know, I can talk about it and I can listen to it if you put it on. But I don't think these days I'm going to be the one to put it on. No, it's not going to be a backdrop. It's in what is our Canadian label. They have a building back home, and so it's also a venue. So it's just standing there. But we did some fun clips in front of it just last week. So hopefully the guy who's supposed to be editing it sends it to us either today or tomorrow. So there should be something on Instagram or something fairly shortly. As much as I went to film school, music videos I'm really burnt out on. We have over 40, if not 50 music videos. I mean, you're really into it the first few, but like by the time you reach like music video 50, you're just kind of like, I don't know. What I'm more interested in is making sure that the recordings and the songs sound consistent and good, and something that I personally would be proud to stand behind. The music videos, from day one, the moment you hire someone to do your music video, you're kind of relinquishing creative control to somebody else, and it's partly their vision. You know, when you hand over creative control, even if it's 50% creative control to someone else, it's also that you're sharing a vision. So for me, there's just too many cooks in the kitchen, and eventually I just go like, whatever, as long as we've decided on your idea, if you can pull that idea off, then we'll be happy. Yeah, I mean, there's tons of bands or people we'd love to collaborate with. On our new album, we have Marty Friedman playing a guitar on the second track, and so I was on Marty's album 2 albums ago. Like, I was on Inferno, his Inferno album. I sang 3 songs on his Inferno album. And Marty and I have been friends for quite some time now, but he's never been on our album. I've been on his. So this was great. Like, there's a song that was just calling for him, so we got him on this track called Diamond in the Rough, and it's track 2 on the album. So that was a great collaboration that I've kind of always wanted to have Marty on our album. And he's considered, you know, top 2 greatest metal guitarists ever, so that was great. But yeah, there's tons of other ones. Like, I'd love to, you know, have Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top on our album, but so would every other band, I think, you know. So, but Billy Gibbons would be on my number 1. True, especially with you know, the internet. When I was, and I say it in the past tense, but when I'd be on tour, if I have enough time, usually I don't, but if I have enough time, I'll go and do a search on the local record stores. If there's one near the venue, then I'll go. If not, I'm not going to search it out on a show day. But I don't do that anymore because I pretty much sold all my records. I don't collect anymore.
Really?
Yep.
Why not?
I just hit a wall. I'm done.
Okay.
I still have like 9 crates of records that mean something to me, like a sentimental value to me, but I got rid of most of my collection.
What's your hobby? What do you...
Right, yeah, right. That's a question I asked myself when I was selling it. Like, what am I going to do now? Because part of part of the hobby of collecting records is the chase, is the hunt. That's, I'd say, 75% of the reason why people collect records, really. I mean, especially in the advent of streaming, where you can listen to anything you want in mere seconds. So it's not really the songs and listening to the songs itself, but it's more the hunt. I don't know. I just don't have that as part of my life anymore. I gave up a lot of things. Like I haven't done my podcast in 5 years as well, but actually I'm getting back on the horse. I think I reached a point in my life when it comes to collecting records, and really just collecting, where I was pretty done. And it became more of the collection itself. I had amassed something that started to become a monster. And it's a huge undertaking if you have to move, or if you have to even move the collection to another room. And it starts taking over your space, so I just didn't want that. And so when the first thought creeped into my head, where I don't want this anymore, I couldn't stop it. It was a tsunami. I just couldn't stop thinking about getting rid of it all. But I still have like a 2x4 record, and I guess to some people it would be a full collection, but compared to the collection I had before, it's markedly less. So, and it's I can breathe a little bit.